Hello everyone and welcome to another Watercolor Wednesday. I am Allison with the blog A Glimpse Inside, and today I'm going to show you how to do this fun little flower cart painting. We need one stamp set, only 2 stamps, and 5 colors, so it should be a pretty quick painting. So let's get started. So the stamp set that I'll be using is an exclusive 2020 of this house. They've come out with shops similar to this house, so this was kind of another one. So it's a cottage set, and it came with this little cart, the house, a lamp post, and then this little blossom. And so it's kind of a rare one if you didn't get to snag it, because you had to buy it online in their store. But you can kind of do stuff similar with other carts that they have in wagons. So if you don't have this set, then this little flower is in a couple different sets. So you can just kind of work it out and maybe just change this to like a wagon, or there's 2 wagons, I believe. Like one's a wagon and one's more like another cart. So, but again, I'm going to use the little cart and then this little flower, and that's all we're going to need. And then the colors is kind of my go-to usuals. Number 15, olive green. Number 86, African violet. Number 20, magenta. Number 17, steel blue. And then good old 45, sepia. So again, you know, customize this to whatever colors you would like to use. And let's get started. So I had this little tiny frame, and this is literally a 2.5 by 2.5, or I'm sorry, 2.5 by 3.5 picture frame. So it's super small. You can get it done pretty quickly. And it's just cute, like, you know, just to sit on a shelf. So I cut my paper into the, let me kind of come in a little more there. So I cut my paper to the 2.5 by 3.5. And then we're going to start with the cart itself. And I'm going to ink it up in 2 colors. So we're going to start with the African violet. And then follow it up with the sepia. And this will kind of give our weathered gray. So whether it's like a wood or just like a metal, this will kind of give us that gray tone. So then I'm just going to stamp it kind of off in the center on this side of the paper. Let me make sure I'm straight here. All right, so we will start with the cart first, and we'll just kind of, I'm going to drag the color out of the lines, but also just kind of paint it at the same time. The lines are really thin on here, so I am going to just kind of drag some color out and, you know, just kind of paint it. I'm going to try to mix kind of like some shadows in some spots. But we don't have to do a lot to this cart, just because it is, I mean, it's a really tiny stamp, so we won't have to really paint in too much here. And then I'm just going to kind of, we're going to have like, this is like a solid wheel, hubcap kind of thing. So I'm going to put a little bit of, let's see, let me scoot this over here so we can, there we go. So I have some sepia and some African violet, and I'm going to do just a little mixing. I want it to be more brown this time than gray, and then I'm just going to kind of paint in a little more. You can leave it, you don't have to, like, you know, once you did that first coat, you don't have to do anything else to it if you didn't want to. So I'm just trying to give it a little bit more depth. And then I'm going to come with just some African violet here, and just kind of add a little color into that little hubcap, and just kind of give a little bit more depth of like shadow areas. I made my area on the wheel a little darker than I would like, so I'm just going to take a clean brush with just water on it And I'm just going to kind of paint over those and just kind of spread it and soften that color. And in that way now it's just kind of a more lighter hue that I would like. Okay, super fast, super simple. Cart for now is done. And we're going to move on to our little tiny flowers. I am using for this painting a piece of Post-it tape. You can use a Post-it note. Don't have to use one at all. But I'm just going to kind of cover up the very bottom of that wagon, but also leave it where I can just see like the wheels in the bottom of it right there. Just because when I do the lines of the flowers, so say, you're in a field of flowers and there's normally space, like with crops. I wanted to make it where the flowers can come up to that basket or the wagon and cover it, but I didn't want it to be like all the way over it. So I'm just going to use this little piece of Post-it tape, and then I'm going to do the olive green on the bottom and magenta right on top, and then I'm just going to go in a straight line all the way across the page. So I'm going to kind of leave a little gap towards the end because I don't want to go all the way to the side over there. Kind of leave a tiny border once it gets framed. And so I'm inking a good probably 4 or 5 times before I reapply the ink. And that way I'm getting like dark and it fades to lighter and darker to lighter. Okay. So I'm going to stop right there and I'm going to peel off now right now it doesn't look like, oh, you're not even touching the wheel. That's fine because once I add water, then I can like carefully put it up in that area that I want it. So I'm going to add some into the cart for, what the flower farmer, there we go, has already picked. So we're just going to add a little bunch into the cart like so. And then I'm just going to do one more row of flowers. I played around with adding more rows, but in the end, for this small little painting, I think 2 rows was kind of the best. So I'm just going to kind of come up here, right about where the top of that corner is. And I'm going to start a row going over right about there. I'm going to kind of re-ink just to let some on the end over here get a little darker. There we go. And that is it for our flowers. So we will come in here and I'm going to dip my brush in water, pinch it off, and I'm just dabbing the pink first. I'm not going to touch the green until I'm completely done with the pink and just kind of rinse my brush out. So just dab, dab, dab. Again, you can just kind of, make some taller in some spots. Add some rogue little blossoms. This is such a fast little painting. It's nice just to like get something done if you don't have a lot of time and you're just feeling creative. There. So now you can see the flowers kind of go up towards the wagon wheel and the front of the basket. So it kind of works out a little, so it blends it in more. So now I just kind of rinse my brush out, and I'm just going to go down with the stems. I'm just brushing them downwards just to kind of soften them. And then we're almost done. We only have 2 steps to go. Well, just kidding. I'll say 3. Okay, so I already have sepia on my palette over here. So I'm just going to dip my brush, and I'm going to just kind of make it where there's the row between the flowers. So just kind of like a little dirt path, we'll say. So you don't have to add very much of this. I just kind of brush it here and there. You can go back over it to make some spots darker if you'd like. And I am going to add just a little bit kind of behind the wagon, as if like maybe they're picking from that back side, so all of those flowers are gone. So we'll just kind of, brush is getting dry here. Okay, so I'm going to add some steel blue to my palette here, and then just add in some sky. I'm going to again not go all the way, just like I left here and on the sides. I'm just leaving a border to make it like a naturally framed, like matte, once you put it in a frame. And then with the sky, I like to just dab my brush around. I don't really brush it like I did with the land down here, with the dirt. I like the movement that it adds. But if you prefer to brush it on, then brush it on. Okay. And last but not least, I'm going to take the thin end of my African violet, and I'm just going to kind of go over some of these lines of the little cart here, and just kind of darken things up a little bit where there were shadows. Maybe I accidentally used a little too much water in some places. And then I'm just going to kind of take it and just kind of add what would be like almost looking like wood grain, so knots. So super simple, super easy, and that little painting is complete. So I'm just going to sign and date it down here in this little corner, and that's it. So like what, maybe 10 minutes, just over 10 minutes of a little painting. So perfect little painting to get done when you don't have a lot of time, but you're in the mood to be creative. I hope you guys enjoy this little painting, and join me next week when I share a whole new painting with you guys. I hope you have an awesome rest of your day and rest of your week, and stay safe out there. See you later. Bye.